Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Mexi here, and I'm back for yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're playing through Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have basically managed to able to begun a whole bunch of those purple coin challenges and stuff like that, to be more specifically with the purple comet missions, and overall we're actually doing not too bad for all things considered, especially noticeable with no deaths on it so far, which I guess that's a good thing because aside from the fact that, well, relatively speaking, I just managed to play these missions several times already in the past, so I pretty much know what to expect. So today, for this video, is the fact that we're about to be moving on to the final 5 of those Purple Comet missions for their respective galaxies. To be more specifically, we're about to be able to head back onto the forms of Freeze Flame Galaxy right here, and because of that though, we're going to be able to try to explore the icy portion of this particular place. So in this case though, we're going to be hit onto the last mission in terms of the forms of Freeze Flame Galaxy, which appears to be purple coins on the summit. So, and exponentially speaking though is the fact that this is the reason why, if you couldn't tell already, that the time length for this video is actually going to be quite lengthy, just because, well, as you probably expect, is the fact that as soon as we're able to actually hit on to several of those Purple Comet missions that usually utilizes a lot of emphasis on exploration, basically though is the fact that the actual time length is going to get doubled up slightly. So because of this though, yeah, it might take a while to able to actually complete several of those purple coin missions for certain galaxies for sure, because unlike in Galaxy 2 though, that thankfully it did manage to tone down for a bit, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, with the forms of Galaxy 2 purple coin challenges and stuff like that, at the very least it's actually very short, as well as from that, they don't usually bring that up in every single galaxy. So because of this though, yeah, there's not much right to home about when it comes to the forms of likely for its different length with all that particular things itself, I suppose. But either way though, we probably get the idea about that. So anyway, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's date is of course the 28th of September today, in this case in 2022 today, but the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that we've only got roughly about 3 days to go now, until we basically moved on to the 10th month, which I think we already said this time and time again, because obviously though, is the fact that I'm just quite looking forward to enjoying the forms of next month, just because, although first off, before you're able to mention more details on that month though, basically, first of all, is the fact that, remember I mentioned this before, ever since on Monday, that yeah, I did manage to able to see the beginning of the forms of the new series from My Little Pony series, which appears to be Make Your Mark, and for what I've watched it was okay. I mean, I kinda wish there was actually more to it than that. Like, I know for the fact that they're trying to able to go back onto the forms of the actual tone of the actual, the things itself as a result, because I still rather prefer Friendship is Magic a lot more, just because Friendship is Magic is so special to my heart, and especially noticeable because, well, Friendship is Magic has quite a lot of things going for it, like, you know, environments, as well as the forms of a lot of action-packed scenes, and especially noticeable with the most entertaining villains, specifically, you know, Discord, along with the forms of, well, T-Rex, along with the forms of other villains as well, and, yeah, that basically explains why Friendship is Magic is hands down the best generation ever, just because, well, usually relatively speaking though, that I would also apply for, G5 a little bit, well, only with the forms of, the only good thing about G5 in my opinion is definitely a new generation movie, just because, man, the visuals look stunning, especially noticeable that was actually the first time ever in the 3D CGI movie, and because of this though, the visuals in the movie, A New Generation, is so gorgeous. But every now and then now is the fact that since we're going to be moving on to the new series, to be more specifically Tale Your Tale, which I thought was okay, but it's just the fact that certain animation errors are usually present. So because of this though, yeah, I have no idea why they did manage to able to just make certain animation pauses to go like kind of awkward as well as kind of messed up as well, because there are a few, you know, what-ifs or something like that. I have no idea, because it has been quite a few days ago since I actually last watched the forms of Tell Your Tale series. And on top of all that stuff, though, is the fact that, well, recently I'm onto the forms of Make Your Mark, which I thought was okay, like I said before, but it's just the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking though, I think I'm more accustomed to the movie counterparts, to be more specifically a new generation, because like I said, the visuals look spectacular, and on top of all that stuff though, I really love the voice cast on the movie, because to be honest with you, I think, kind of think about it though, the new voice actors though, I think it was okay, but I just think that overall that G5 so far is okay enough for me. But it's just the fact that it's quite not the same, it's not on the same level as G4 in my opinion, just because, you know, G4 is so special. So because of this though, thus because of how the fact that, well, I suppose that, I believe Gianna has forgot to mention about this ever since and during the course of her Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX so far, that basically, that she didn't mention about the fact that out of nowhere, well, I suppose I should probably be able to mention about it right now, that during the course of the Pony Life series, despite the fact that I'm not overly keen on it though, just because it is way too more like target audience for like little kids, just because of Spice of Life kind of stuff. So because of this though, yeah, let's just go and get to it with the next two prankster comments here. Although, to be more specifically though, I think, although kind of thinking about it though, let me talk about the forms of that particular one reference that I somehow managed to spot it for the sake of the forms of in one of those episodes in Pony Life, and that would have to be by the forms of where Rainbow Dash just drank a potion which actually acted out as like Sonic the Hedgehog. So yeah, it seems kind of interesting, all things considered, but as a result of that kind of stuff though, as I said before, I'm not a big fan of the Life series just because it just feels way too many emphasis on, I don't know what you would call it there, like I found the art style to be kind of cringe-worthy in my opinion, but I might be biased, but anyway, Purple Coins by the Seaside. In this case, without a doubt, one of the longest Purple Comet missions throughout the whole game. Because, obviously, the Purple Comets have, or the Purple Coins rather, has been scattered around in this entire galaxy itself, and also you have to go all the way around throughout the majority of the actual layout of this entire galaxy. So, it might actually roughly took you about 10 minutes or so in order able to actually complete this particular mission. Well, if you'd be fast enough like Sonic the Hedgehog or something, well, I don't know what you're able to actually just to point things out for the sake of time though, but either way though, because again, it has been a, quite a while since I actually done some of my commentary, since during the course of it 2 days ago, and relatively speaking though, is the fact that, well, in addition that we might be able to actually complete the rest of the forms of those missions, if you couldn't tell, but also, I think I might be able to consider this, is the fact that we might be able to head back onto the forms of, well, Bowser's Galaxy Reactor for the second time, and because of that though, just try to able to beat Bowser again, and exponentially we're able to actually just get something that is entirely unlockable. So yeah, that begs the question for this point. So anyway, so let's just go ahead and hop onto these specific clouds, and basically that's all we can just, oh goodness gracious me, come on, okay. Oh, that was a little bit close, but regardless of everything else though, I totally appreciate about that specific stuff, I suppose, but yeah. Oh yeah, and another thing I would like to mention about this as well is the fact that I believe we've only got about roughly 3 weeks left until Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope for the Nintendo Switch will be releasing. So because of this though, yeah, it's actually getting, I'm not gonna lie, pretty close until when that particular game finally comes out on the Switch, and because of that though, still excited for it, especially noticeable because, well, I still enjoyed the first game, don't get me wrong, but it's so flipping hard because I'm still stuck on one of those battles and stuff like that, as well as the actual strategic grid-based system, and because of this though, I need to get a lot of practice on it though, but thankfully, in Sparks of Hope, you can at the very least can take control of the other characters this time around though, which I guess is a good thing, so... Oh yeah, I suppose that I think Pac-Man has totally forgot to mention about this, so even then though, because after all, that you already know that he recently finished up with Donkey Kong Land 3 so far, so that means about the fact that, yeah, we pretty much already wrapped it up for the retro Donkey Kong games up to this point. Well, to be more specifically, the Super Nintendo trilogy, along with the forms of the Donkey Kong Land trilogy of games. So all it needs left now is just basically the fact that we got a whole bunch of Donkey Kong games we can play through. Oh, and also Donkey Kong Jungle Beat for both the GameCube version and the Wii version at the same time, because obviously the level layout is a bit different, so... But I digress. And, on top of all that stuff though, we're also able to consider trying to do Donkey Kong 64 in the future, and especially noticeable with the forms of Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze as well, and also some other miscellaneous titles you know as well for Donkey Kong, like let's just say Donkey Kong Jet Race, aka Barrel Blast, despite the fact that most people seem to never overly keen on Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, because it actually requires you to use a lot of emphasis on motion controls, and most of the time the controls are pretty terrible and stuff like that, from what I've heard, but because, gotta think about it though, speaking of which though actually, it's been ages ago since I actually last played Donkey Kong Barrel Blast, just because, well, I just somehow managed able to just play some other games instead. Oh yeah, there's also the forms of Donkey Kong King of Swing on the Game Boy Advance, along with Jungle Climber, and the only games we're probably not going to tackle through though will have to be by the forms of, I would classify for saying, Donkey Konga games, I'm pretty sure, just because they're all basically just rhythm-based games or something like that. Although, if I was going to able to actually just don't be bothered able to get the physical copies of those games, I can at least I'm all able to actually just try my best to able to download certain stuff from the emulator while playing through Donkey Konga 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that might help, but despite the fact that I haven't actually used my homebrew channel for quite some time, ever since, you know, after playing through Mario Kart Arcade GP1 and Arcade GP2. So because of this though, yeah, there's not much else to say. So either way though, yeah, let's just go ahead and fly up. Oh yeah, let's talk about the forms of another thing that, as I mentioned this before, that Pac-Man has totally forgotten to mention about ever since in the finale part of, you know what I mean, Donkey Kong Land 3. Basically, there was that compilation game that has been out for about a decade ago right now, to be more specifically referring to as Angry Birds Trilogy for, I would say, on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and I think there's one on the 3DS version as well. Well, I'm usually looking at the North American release date, so because of this though, yeah, I can't believe that Angry Birds Trilogy for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 and the 3DS versions are, well, essentially the entire compilation itself, that it usually came out an entire decade ago, which is to be more specifically 10 years ago, which time really does fly, doesn't it? Well, despite the fact that I used to remember having the Xbox 360 version during that time, but somehow I just not very great at the game though. Well, mainly because of how the fact that I'm more into like a different kind of like, well, just try something new, and then next thing you know is that since I'm pretty much terrible at the game, well, I did manage to try my best, but most of the time though, my aiming shots wasn't exactly all that accurate though. At least whenever I was trying to able to obtain like 3 stars or anything else to be more specific, if you really want to like, well, you know what I mean, if you really want to get achievements or trophies or something like that. Although, mind you, that wasn't the first version I've somehow managed able to try out in regards to the forms of the Angry Birds Trilogy. That will honor goes to the forms of the Wii U version, despite I no longer have the Wii U version of Angry Birds Trilogy anymore, just because, well, pretty much the same reason as the Xbox 360 version. So because of this though, yeah, I totally see about the fact that I'm not exactly a huge Angry Birds fanatic, But because of that though, that's why I'm essentially just almost about to give up in the series, just because I'm not very great at playing these games. Although, relatively speaking though, I totally get about the fact that, well, it might be biased when it comes to everyone else's opinion, but either way though, it's just not my cup of tea, so but I digress. And I suppose that's pretty much as far as I can talk about for this point, guys. Although, relatively speaking though, it's just the fact that I was expecting if I was trying to mention something else for this matter though. Although, can I think about it, so far anyway though, for the sake of the forms of this mission so far, we're actually doing pretty alright, despite it's a bit still lengthy, but regardless of anything else though, sorry for a little bit of a, tongue twisting in the end, folks, but that's only mainly because I was trying to say something, but I've almost got interrupted by something else, so. And as always, I always save the last 3 purple coins onto that top portion of the lighthouse, just because, well, it's feel like, you know, the easiest way to obtain it, so. There we go. That pretty much wraps it up for the engine room, so I think the only needs left now is the majority of the garden, so. To be more specifically with Deep Dark Galaxy, along with Dreadnought Galaxy, and Melty Martin Galaxy as well. So, yeah, we are getting there, folks. We are surely but surely, but getting there. So, alright, what's next? Dreadnought Galaxy, so. At least we're hoping that that particular purple coin challenge for the Dreadnought Galaxy will be pretty quick. Well, despite the fact that it might actually be a little bit tricky if you have a first time playing that particular, the actual mission itself or something like that, which, as a result, it might be entirely based off from, Mission 2. I'm pretty sure that might be something worth noting for. But anyway, let's get into the actual garden itself for the majority of the last 3 power stars to obtain. So, yeah, let's dive right in. And so far we actually are on 117 power stars so far, so looking good so far. Alright, so let's see. Battle Stations Purple Coins. So of course, much like the defaults of how it does it on Battle Rock Galaxy, we have to ride on that particular platform. However, the biggest difference is this time though, we're now able to actually get ourselves the life shroom before you get started with this particular mission, so. At least it's very generous with you when it comes to, like, health points and stuff like that, so that might be a reasonable thing to able to have this in the first place, so, yeah, that pretty much explains it. And thus, the extra life is just up ahead, so, like, every time you die, then basically you can able to actually re-obtain the extra one up if you keep on screwing things up, so, at the very least, though, this mission is quite generous with you, so. Well, despite the fact that it might actually be still kind of tough and difficult, just because, you know, with all that, you know, ridiculous platforms you have to, like, navigate through, and on top of all that stuff, though, trying to dodge that particular cannonball shot, and not only that, you no longer have to utilize the gravity thing on that particular moving platform, because unlike in Battle Rock Galaxy, that, you can do just that, like, you can able to go the top or the bottom, depending on the gravity mechanic, but relatively speaking though, that, you know, you get the idea. And thus this particular part is still linear, so as a result, if you accidentally missed one of those purple coins, then unfortunately though, you get out able to restart this entire mission again. And I believe if you talk to Guillermo, whenever you don't manage able to reach for about 100 purple coins, then basically if you dare talk to him, he will kill you. So yeah, that might be something worth knowing for. I have no idea why that Guillermo's will really love to able to make you forced to able to go all the way back to the beginning of that mission again. Like, I just have no idea why they continue that, especially noticeable before when Super Mario Galaxy 2 was a thing. It kinda does the same thing there. So, as a result, yeah, I just have no idea why that Guillermo might actually be kind of a threat. But I digress. But luckily though, I did this mission on the first attempt because, to be honest with you, it doesn't take me too many tries. Although, mind you, back in the old days on the Wii version of the game, that it did took me about 100 attempts on this mission, just because it is quite tough back in the day. But relatively speaking, since we're on, 2022, and I pretty much know exactly what I'm about to do, so either way though, it's a piece of cake. Alright, so only 2 more power stars left, so let's see what's up next. Deep Dark Galaxy. So, thankfully though, we don't need to worry about the time limits, as well as the forms of some linear, the actual linear kind of missions. So, anyways, so let's get to it with Plunder the Purple Coins. So I think for, Deep Dark Galaxy, along with Melty Molten Galaxy, that, thankfully the entire arena itself, or the entire area we can actually explore, is actually pretty small. So because of this though, rather than just trying to explore large portion of the level, so because of that though, we can just simply obtain them within the small areas, so... But, yeah, that basically explains it, so... Again, there's not much else I can say, apart from the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, although, gonna think about it though, also, that, speaking of which, when it comes to the Angry Birds trilogy, I'm pretty sure the European version is also, 10 years old recently today, from the likes of the exactly the same, systems, from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and the 3DS versions, because mind you, the Wii U version along with the Wii version as well, that both of those versions came out until 2013, despite the fact that, relatively speaking though, that the last Mario game to be released on the Wii is actually Mario Party 9, which in this case that was the true final Mario game to be released on that particular system, before they moved on to the Nintendo Wii U of all things, so... And speaking of the Wii U though, is the fact that, well, it's been about a month ago since we actually last heard about the forms of the 3DS, and the Wii U Eshop application is no longer functioning for the sake of adding fonts, which is kind of sad, just because, well, I just really do miss those days, especially noticeable where things change every now and then, so even then though, I must admit though, it really sucks to able to see them go. Especially noticeable after, like, having a great time with all that, the presentation of the actual eShop menus and stuff like that between the Wii U and 3DS eShops for that particular. And also, I really do enjoy the music with all that, the Wii U eShop music along with the 3DS eShop music, because, well, that appears to be my childhood memories when it comes to, like, both of those things all at once, so... But yeah, it still kinda sucks to able to see them go, so either way though. In fact, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. Have you guys ever played Angry Birds Trilogy, at least depending on what version you got, from the likes of the PlayStation 3, or Xbox 360, or the Nintendo 3DS, or the Wii U, or the Wii, of all things? And let's not forget ourselves the PlayStation Vita version, which I'm pretty sure that the PlayStation Vita version, I think it's like digital only. Well, I don't know about you, because it has been a very long time since I actually known about Angry Birds Trilogy, because as far as I'm aware, although what I've noticed is the fact that, relatively speaking though, is the fact that, well, in terms of reception though, it's like kind of mixed, like somewhat feels a bit unfavorable reviews, although what I've noticed is the fact that, I think some people seem to say that the Wii U version might be the best version of Angry Birds Trilogy or something like that, or potentially speaking of the 3DS version, although mind you the 3DS version is a bit mixed. So as a result though, I have no idea why that the actual review seems to be a little bit more, well, let's just say a bit mixed in terms of the forms of, well, the Angry Birds Trilogy compilation itself, because unlike some smartphone versions, it doesn't matter if it's on Android or iPhones or anything, or any phones for that matter. And then basically though is the fact that, relatively speaking though, I just have no idea that the console version gets a lot of mixed reception, unlike the actual superior smartphone versions. Although the only good thing about the forms of the Angry Birds Trilogy, in my opinion though, is the fact that they managed to able to remaster some specific cinematic cutscenes between the intro and the ending, and that's always good stuff. But Because obviously Angry Birds Trilogy do manage to contain not only the classic game, but also Angry Birds Rio and also Angry Birds Seasons. So, no idea why they just somehow missed out on the forms of Angry Birds Space or although eventually they get themselves the actual console version of Angry Birds Star Wars, of all things. But, yeah, aside from all that stuff though, I think that's as far as I can try to say about this for the most part, so... Alright, so I think the last 2 purple coins is actually onto that cannon, spot. Oh, wait a second. I get the horrible sense of feeling I somehow missed that purple coin. But thankfully though, like I said before, we don't need to worry about the time limit, so... It doesn't matter if you're able to actually just spend some time on this particular mission itself. But anyway, let's just get back up there. Thank you. Boy, that's a lot of work to do, especially noticeable just, you know, explore around in this place, and that's essentially how this goes. I'm presuming so anyway. Alright, one more power star left, folks, and that will take place on Multi-Modern Galaxy, which, fundamentally speaking, I'm thinking that will be the quickest purple coin mission we can probably do, so hopefully we'll get this thing to it. So, oh yeah, aside from all that stuff though, I'll explain more details about the forms of other topics I would like to mention at some point. But anyways, let's get into the forms of red hot purple coins. So again, it takes place in one specific planet, which appears to be right in this planet right here. So relatively speaking though, it might not be that difficult though, at least in my opinion. Although, it might will be difficult if you have a first time playing this particular game itself, but still. Oh yeah, and another thing I would like to mention actually is the fact that until when it gets to the point until on this coming Friday, specifically the 30th of September, one of those episodes in My Little Pony Friendship is Magic actually, in taking place in Season 7 called Marks and Recreation, that particular episode is going to be 5 years old and during at some point on this Friday, so because of this though, yeah, time flies, doesn't it? So, and I think next up it will be Once Upon a Zipper Lane, and also Secret and Pies, and also Uncommon Bond, and finally the Shadow Play Parts 1 and 2, for the sake of the 5th anniversary of those episodes' releases respectively. So, yeah, that begs the question for the actual, for the sake of the forms of... Oh, no. Ah, jeez, I'm actually doing pretty rough at this level, actually, which I honestly have no idea why, but that's only mainly because I somehow got distracted by other things, so, whoops. But that's okay though, because hopefully we were able to actually just try to able to succeed by this point, but anyways, let's go ahead and grab some of these purple coins from up there, and oh jeez Louise. But, oh god. Alright. That was pretty close. But, yeah, because this place is filled to the brim with lava everywhere, so that's the only reason why. That some people might find this to be kind of a tricky mission to go for. That's only mainly because there's a lot of lava in there. And also because of this though, if you dare die, then you have to grab all these purple coins again. But thankfully though, the actual purple coins themselves are actually somewhat a bit closer to each other though. So as a result though, it might not be that tough though, unlike, you know, the one in a ghostly galaxy that some people might find this to be kind of difficult. Just because you have to do it with that 1 minute time limit, and on top of all that stuff though is the fact that you have to utilize the pull star mechanic. So, anyways, let's just go ahead and launch ourselves inside the volcano itself, and then grab some more purple coins in the process for this point. Alright, let's talk about the forms of another details about the forms of My Little Pony Make Your Mark Netflix series. I'm almost about to give up in the forms of the G5 series, but if it goes all for like pure simplistic kind of stories or something like that, then I might able to actually consider trying to able to give up watching the forms of the majority of G5 series, because I'm honestly still prefer G4, to be honest with you, just because of this memorable characters, memorable set pieces, and let's not forget ourselves, some very interesting stories. Especially notable, some of them are actually ranging between, you know, something related to time travel aspect, and also just, you know, having friendship lessons and stuff like that, and on top of all that stuff though, expansive worlds to able to explore. So, at least depending on what episodes they brings us into, so... Anyway, let's just go ahead and grab the last few purple coins there, which we've already technically did, and able to obtain the power star as we go along, and... exponentially, since we've reached for about 120 power stars, we immediately go in front of Rosalina because obviously she has some important message to tell us. So there we go, 120 power stars as we go, just like in Super Mario 64 for power stars and Shine Sprites for sunshine. So. Well, now we have enough star power to go to another world, but before that, we must help your special one. Are you prepared to travel to the center of the universe? Absolutely yes. Alright then, off we go. And of course, you can able to actually skip that cinematic cutscene though, just in case if you already seen it, so... Anyways, let's head back on to Bowser's Galaxy Reactor for the second time, but this time around though, that once we beat Bowser for the second time, well, specifically the final boss encounter with Bowser variation, then basically we'll get ourselves a different reward that you might be familiar with what's gonna be coming up next. So anyways, let's get that extra life here, and, well, just do the usual be steady kind of stuff like this. So, in fact, kind of thinking about it, it's been about, I would say for about 5 days ago, since we actually last experienced this level though, right here. Just because of how the fact that, well, obviously, Tiana's still working on The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX and stuff. In fact, kind of thinking about it, she's actually getting pretty close towards the end of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX already, just because I know for the fact that, well, obviously, like I said before, Pac-Man has already finished up with Donkey Kong Land 3 ever since on Sunday as opposed to Saturday, just because, well, just want to let Tiana catch up with the forms of that particular recording method, so yeah, that begs the question throughout. Actually, I don't think there's any point I can able to actually obtain some more extra lives for that matter, just because, well, to be speaking though, we're actually getting pretty close towards at the end, specifically for Mario's playthrough, so... Anyways, let's just go ahead and deal with this 2D segment here, and then just try to dodge a lot of fire bars and stuff like that. And hopefully, without having some major struggles by this point, and oh god! Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine because, you know, invincibility frames might help me out throughout, so... Now we get into the hardest aspect about this level, which is the bullet bill segment itself. Oh jeez, that was close. Because if I somehow get knocked by the forms of that bullet bill, like I said before, then I'll get crushed instantly by that thwomp, which, again, that happened to me once during the course of whenever I played the Switch version of this game, so, well, to be more specifically, the Switch version of Super Mario Galaxy, so because of this, though, yeah, it might actually be kind of tough, so... Oh, goodness gracious. But thankfully, we've made it. We have made it! Again. Hoi. And of course, we've met again with Bowser Jr., and of course, he's still hostage Princess Peach, so... Like, I don't know about you, is it just me, or is that Bowser Jr. feels a bit tad bigger than the forms of how it does it with Princess Peach? I'm still on about that ever since the last video. Well, I don't know about you, because again, it's been about 5 days since we actually experienced this stage before on one hand, so... Anyway, so once again we need to dodge the actual meteor rocks, while at the same time we have to be quick because these stairs are about to crumble, so... Yeah, nothing too much else to say about this here. Although the actual dialogue itself is pretty much exactly the same, so I think we should probably skip those entirely. It looks like Bowser Jr. now got the mask on, so to be expected at this point. Alright, time to fight Bowser again for the 4th time for Mario's playthrough for this entire Super Mario Galaxy game. So, anyway, so just like before, we need to do exactly the same segment as the Evolves of how it does on the first time around, and nothing else different from there. I know for the fact that some people usually just somehow ignore it, trying to go for this stage again. Well, despite the fact that I have to do this anyway, for the sake of the forms of likely just for fun anyway though, and also just make things a bit faster and quicker for like specific skills of mine, but I honestly have no words able to think about this, so... And of course, the second phase has always been super duper easy, just because, you know, with these green stuff, then, you know, you can just launch right at him without needing to able to let him activate the spiky ball attack, which, as a result, is always kind of fun. Did I somehow got the star bits from the distance? Okay, I haven't noticing this, but at least we actually got 120 star bits along with the power stars itself. So yeah, suffice to say, when it comes to the forms of the final boss battle, then basically we're able to actually get ourselves the already collected Grand Star. I think that was the only already collected item we might consider getting, so... Alright, on to the final phase as we go. In this case, the most intense final boss battle in any Mario game ever, just because, you know, like I said before, the intense music, alongside with the forms of the environment itself, looks very epic. So, as a result, yeah. Oh, jeez. That almost ran into me! Ah, drat. Although I'm pretty sure he's gonna, yeah, he's gonna do a spiky roll thing attack. Oh jeez. Alright, come here, Bowser. Oh, there it goes. And let's grab the coin just to ensure. And shake. And boom! We finished for you, Bowser. Well, at least for now anyway, though. And we meet again with the most gruesome death for Bowser's death sequence in the entire Mario games. Which in this case, he just goes in there, and then, boom, he's already down. Although I'm pretty sure enough though, he will technically still survive from that particular, well, I don't know what you would call it though, I must be honest. And there's the already collected the Grand Star, in some cases though. I almost keep thinking to myself about the forms of that, let's just say, Silver Stars itself, but either way. I apologize if my comment take us a little bit, bare bones at points, but at the very least I did mention something related to this point today, like, you know what I mean, Angry Birds Trilogy's, 10th anniversary, and you name the rest. Huh? So yeah, I believe we once again rescued Princess Peach again. Now, despite the fact that we've already collected the already obtained Grand Star, at the very least on certain cinematic cutscenes, you're still able to actually see the new Grand Star to obtain. So, like, all yellow and everything, so... Although, kind of think about it though, one thing I should probably, I think I sort of mentioned about this, but I think I should probably say this again anyway. That, somehow the cutscenes do feel a bit different with all that contrast and everything. That's the only thing I was able to address that. But still, those cutscenes do look, I'm not gonna lie, pretty well animated. Especially noticeable that was originally a Wii game, so yeah. No, my galaxy, my empire. This can't be happening. And of course, I get the strong sense of feeling we might stumble across the saddest scene in the entire game. Because every time when this scene happens, it doesn't matter if it's on the Wii, Wii U, or even a Switch every now and then. Seriously, that particular scene always makes me cry every time I saw this. Or perhaps even maybe because I always do care for these cute little Lumas and then stuff like that. There goes all this havoc again. Especially with this music too. That always makes me feel a bit teary too. But still, I really love the soundtrack in Galaxy, along with Galaxy 2 as well. But still, but I'm okay now, so it's just that it's always kind of sad to see that scene happening. Could imagine if first-time players, specifically the Switch owners out there, if they've somehow experienced Super Mario Galaxy for the first time, specifically on the Switch version of the game, then basically I bet anyone else have almost cried on that scene. I could imagine that. So of course we'll see Rosalina again. And obviously she was able to just, well, talk to Mario to see what really happens on that. Well, you know what I mean if you ever played the, you know what I mean, the original Wii version of the game already. Although, mind you, because of the fact that whenever we see these scenes already, then basically I always tend to able to read every dialogue, but for the sake of the forms of this point today, then basically I was going to skip the exact same dialogue of text boxes here and there. You'll see. But yeah, I think that's pretty much summarized how the ending's gonna plays out to be. So yeah, I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit slightly bare bones at this point, but then again, I will try my best able to mention about more things here and there, but again, that's not much. And of course that the Star Festival is about to be running again, especially noticeable with the Mushroom Kingdom itself is fully restored, so... And this time we now actually have more characters are now going to be joining for the Star Festival itself. Such as Gorby right here, as we probably already saw when he just jumps out of the water, along with Bowser Jr. and all kinds of enemies, and Honey Queen, Dino Piranha, and you name the rest, Cheep Cheeps and all that. And what's even greater is the fact that since this is on the Switch, so that means there's no reliance on, game crashes or anything, which I guess is a good thing, because, well, to be speaking though, whenever I manage to play the Wii version someplace elsewhere, then basically if they got a scratched up copy of Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii, and then basically I could imagine about the fact that we stumbled across the game disc could not be read message, and I was like, oh, are you serious? Although mind you, it only happens on, I would say on certain cinematic cutscenes, all things considered, because I've seen a couple of those times when that happens, for some speedrunners, or specifically game crashes and speedrun kind of stuff. But relatively speaking, thankfully on the Switch version does not seem able to show up that, the error has occurred message, or the game disc cannot be read, because, Switch games are now on game cards, so because of this though, I totally appreciate about that. So there we go folks, that pretty much wraps it up for the Super Mario Galaxy, specifically Mario's playthrough, because as far as I'm aware, if you think the game was over, well, originally we were expecting to be able to hit on to the forms of, to be more specifically, the final galaxy in the game, which appears to be the grand finale galaxy, but we're not exactly going back there just yet, because Well, as far as I'm aware, if you're following through our original version of the game, to be more specifically on the Wii, basically we will come across into the second playable character, which, unlike in Super Mario 64, along with Super Mario Sunshine, that you don't get yourselves the second playable character, because they were originally planned out for Super Mario 64, but it turns out it's been scrapped. And as far as Super Mario Sunshine goes, obviously back on the GameCube era of days, that basically Luigi got his own adventure, something related to like Ghostbusters and stuff, like sucking up ghosts and all that stuff, while meanwhile for Mario just taking himself a relaxing vacation with Princess Peach and stuff like that, without relying on Luigi and stuff like that, so... But relatively speaking though, for this game, along with Galaxy 2, someone is actually playing... I can't remember what game they're actually playing on, because sometimes with small text here and there can sometimes might as well felt a bit extremely difficult to read sometimes. But I digress. So yeah, looks like we stumbled across the exactly the same credit sequence, except this time certain photos have been altered slightly, or specifically somewhat brand new and stuff like that. Like for example, those coconuts have been replaced as in watermelons. I'm not exactly sure you how you're able to actually activate those, because I have tried able to research on it as much as possible, but next thing you know, it's been ages ago since I actually noticed particular secret, so... And it looks like one of those pictures showing us Luigi in action, so it could be Luigi becomes a playable character during that time. Well, as far as I'm aware, because, well, as I mentioned this before, the game itself isn't exactly over yet, including in terms of Super Mario 3D All-Stars itself as well. Just because, well, spoiler alert for those of you who want to know what's gonna come up on, you know, every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays potentially for its uploading schedules alike. Basically though, we're about to be moving on onto Super Luigi Galaxy next. So, yeah, that totally explains it how. So, man, I just really love the music. It's so incredible. Because, you know, it's orchestrated and stuff like that, which I really still wish if I was gonna able to get the physical CD soundtrack of this game, along with Galaxy 2 as well. But it's kind of a shame that usually that certain music is now being blocked by copyright strikes, so as a result though, it just feels kind of baffling to me to see that happening, so... So yeah, the final image just shows us the Gateway Galaxy planet, so that could be something worth noting for. If you get 120 power stars overall, we get ourselves the nice little secret ending where basically if you, well, you know what I mean. The end for Mario's playthrough.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
I appreciate it, Mario. I appreciate it. So yeah, after that scene is finished, basically Super Luigi Galaxy is now unlocked. So as a result, yeah, I'm gonna have to end things off here. So join me next time for more Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. We're gonna be starting the game off again, but this time playing as Luigi. So I'll see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.